Thank you for joining me today. It's Brian Gubernick, and welcome to the No Days Off podcast, where we believe that every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. Ray Dalio, who you may have heard of before, he's a billionaire investor, started a company called Bridgewater, wrote a couple different books, my favorite being his book called Principles. Ray Dalio has a phrase that I think all of our No Days Off Nation should become aware of or familiar with. Many of you are likely in this very exact moment. What he calls this particular phrase, or what he uses, it's called the midlife squeeze. The midlife squeeze. Ray says it's that season of life, usually in your mid to late 30s, 40s, or even 50s, when the pressure from every direction starts to peak. You've got kids that still need you, some a lot more than others, but kids that need you, that are living in your house, dependent on you. You've got parents who are maybe aging and might need more of your time. You've got a business that's maybe more demanding than it's ever been. You've got a personal body and mind that may not be bouncing back quite as easily as it used to. This is the midlife squeeze. This is when, again, pressure from every direction starts to peak. Here's the thing. If you're listening to No Days Off, or you're part of the No Days Off Nation, there's a good chance you're an entrepreneur or you're a business person. And that means you're even more at risk because you've chosen this path where there's no safety net. There's not really a way to clock out. You carry the weight of the business, the team, the payroll, as well as your family. Today, I want to unpack this whole midlife squeeze concept because it's real. And if you don't see it coming, well, then I don't think you can manage it with intention. It could actually crush you. And if you're living in it, maybe this greater awareness will support you as well. If you could figure this out, it could actually be one of the most productive, meaningful, and resilient periods of your life. But we've got to bring awareness to it for those that are entering it or those in the middle of it. We got to strategize here. So Ray Dalio describes the midlife squeeze as kind of this perfect storm. Let's go a little bit deeper. Here's what he means. There's career pressure that starts to peak. This is when you're running at full speed. You're trying to hit the financial goals. You're trying to scale your business. You're trying to cement your reputation. Career pressure, peaking. Family demands, stacking up. The kids may be teenagers now. Maybe they're still young, but they're getting into the teen years. They're heading into, more expensive time, expensive college years. Your parents may, let's call it what it is, might be on the decline. Maybe they need a little bit more time, a little bit more attention. You're kind of sandwiched in the middle. And then your personal energy is really tested. You're not 22 years old anymore. The late nights, the nonstop travel, the stress, all that stuff starts to take a different sort of toll. And again, entrepreneurs like you feel it harder. Why? Because everything in your business is probably magnified. When revenue dips, it's personal. When a key team member quits, it's personal. You don't really get to separate work and life. It's all kind of one stream pulling at you at once. Here's the most important thing, though. It's normal. This is normal. Every entrepreneur who pushes past the early years eventually hits this squeeze. So you're not broken. You are definitely not alone. You're just in a natural, high-pressure stage of the journey. It's just a season for you. Knowing all of this, I think there's some tactics we could deploy for navigating this midlife squeeze. You can't avoid it, but you certainly can manage it. So let's break it down. Number one, I've kind of already alluded to this. I think we got to start with awareness. Just call it what it is. It's a season, right? Awareness turns frustration, I think, into strategy. Like, we're aware of it. It's not abnormal. I no longer need to be frustrated. Now let's make it into a strategy. So instead of saying, Why is this so hard? Maybe you can say, oh, this is the squeeze that Ray Dalio talked about, and I know how to respond to it. Number two, in terms of tactics for navigating this, audit your energy. I think entrepreneurs do a really good job tracking money and tracking metrics, but they have a tendency to ignore their energy. So do a daily or weekly check-in. Where is your energy being drained right now? Where is it being restored? It goes without saying that I would consider ruthlessly cutting or delegating the drains that don't move the needle. So given the squeeze, given the attack from all different angles, you only have so much energy. We better leverage it in the right ways. So get rid of the stuff that's draining you. Cut it or delegate. Which leads to number three. If you're in this midlife squeeze, take a step back and make sure you redefine priorities. Not everything can matter equally. It goes without saying. This is the decade, this is the season to sharpen focus. So health, family have got to sit at the top because they're irreplaceable. Then you got to choose the one or two business levers that truly drive growth, and then just drop the rest. Like, this is the season you're in. Your social circle may move further down. Other activities might move further down the list. But because of the pressure, we've got to redefine priorities and get super clear. Which leads to number four, design systems, not what I would call heroics. See, like in your 20s, you can muscle through a lot of things with willpower. But in your 40s and 50s, that sort of thing could break you. So build systems, delegation structures. Maybe it's meeting rhythms. Maybe it's personal routines that protect your time and especially protect your headspace. Start looking for creation of more systems in your life versus this freewheeling, muscling through, willpower sort of behavior. Number five, protect recovery. I'm talking about sleep, exercise, meditation, things we've talked about a ton here. These are no longer luxuries for you. They're survival tactics. Ray Dalio is a big advocate of meditation. I think bottom line, entrepreneurs that are living in this season of squeeze need that daily reset because they got to be clear-headed. Number six, communicate and align. In other words, let's not white knuckle this thing silently. Let's share openly. Like, hey, tell your spouse or your significant other or your leadership team or even your kids, like, this is the season I'm in. And I want you to understand this season because what you're aiming for is support instead of friction. I assure you, for entrepreneurs, again, a lot of you operate kind of on your own island. People don't know what's going on in your world or in your head. It would better serve you to explain what this squeeze feels like and how it's impacting you so that they can be supportive versus constantly questioning or wondering what's going on. And then lastly, in terms of tactics for navigating this midlife squeeze, just reframe it as a test. So instead of like resenting this squeeze, just use it as like a proof of capacity. Like this is the weight room of life, as silly as that may sound. Like if you could build muscle here, managing the chaos and protecting priorities, then you're actually stronger at the very next stage. So I think the lesson here is that the midlife squeeze that you may be going through and you haven't really assigned a name to it until today, this is not any sort of sign of failure. I think it's just this natural compression chamber of growth, right? Like it's this compression chamber of opportunity, of growth. Entrepreneurs who I think recognize it and can prepare for it and work through it, they don't just survive, they end up, becoming sharper and leaner and more resilient. Ray Dalio really reminds us pain plus reflection equals progress. Pain plus reflection is what equals progress. The squeeze is the pain. The reflection is what you choose to do with it. That's all I have for you today. The No Days Off podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. So let's get after it.